I'm not smart enough. Or maybe I am. Maybe not. Most likely, however, it's just a self-limiting belief. Let's talk about it. Roll it. Welcome back to another video where we've been exploring this whole idea of self-limiting beliefs. And in yesterday's video, which I'll link up top, we're talking about I don't know enough, and how that one can do havoc to our mindset, our motivation, and gearing us in that right direction. I'm not smart enough is another one of those, and it's a little bit different. It's one of those phrases that pops up the moment we are faced with adversity. It's that moment where you're starting to work towards something new and you haven't really picked up pace, you're just brainstorming to do it, and then you realize how big and grand this idea is, and you go, I'm not smart enough for this. It also comes that moment where you feel like there's another challenge added to the pot, and even though you know you're going to work on it, your first thought is, I'm not smart enough for this. It's another challenge. I just feel burnt out. Why, oh why? And then you get going on it. And the biggie is when you're about to give up and all of a sudden something new happens that you need to deal with, and you fire that's added to your plate, and clearly you don't need any more fire. So instead of going, okay, we'll tackle this one too, it's usually something that's a little bit more challenging, a little bit more hard, and you're right at your end of the rope and you go, I'm not smart enough for this. This line is just a line, and it's just something we have started to say from a young age. I'm not smart enough. It's not anything more than a line. Everybody is quite capable. The question is, what does this line do, and how do we stop using it, because it clearly isn't true. Number one, figure out where this is coming from. Figure out what is causing this line to come out from. It's an emotion we're targeting. We're trying to figure out where and what occurred. Tip 2 would be to jump right into how big of a difference would it make if we didn't use this line. Let's compare the situation at hand with the big idea behind what we're trying to achieve. And oftentimes what will happen is that we will look at these small things of what we don't really understand, what we don't really know, and we're classifying it as us not being smart enough for it. And what will happen is, if we compare it to the big picture of what we're trying to achieve, we'll start moving towards learning what we need to learn in order to be smart enough. And this is as simple as a 1-2 step process right there. And the question is, are you willing to learn? Which brings us to the next question of, what do we need to learn in order to proceed? That question brings us in nicely. What do I need to learn? Our third task in this process is understanding that, hey, I need to learn, and I can't just sit around and not learn. Clearly, if you're saying I'm not smart enough, it clearly means you're not confident in what you're trying to achieve. So we have to learn in order to become more confident, don't we? We gotta practice. Practice makes perfect, and this is the idea behind this, integration of doing so that we can learn. And once we start implementing what we're learning, we start to build confidence as we repeat the task, everything starts to get easy. Which brings us to step 4, which is creating that plan again. If you haven't done it once already, or twice, or 5, redoing it all from the beginning. Planning is critical, and this is where learning really takes place. We sit down, we analyze what we need to do, and we place everything on the schedule or a timeline, and we compare it to that end goal that we need to achieve. Now, when you say I'm not smart enough, a fear has come in and taken over. You probably are quite capable. Your confidence isn't really there. What you're thinking has overcasted a shadow over what you're trying to do, and as such, we need to take the time and plan out in accordance to that expectation, what is reality with your learning capabilities. So don't look at it as you're not smart enough, look at it that you need more time. Once we put all these pieces together, we can build a list of expectations on the things that you're really struggling with on a I'm not smart enough thought process, and now we can start to really push forward, creating the opportunity for success to happen. This is nothing more than planning a structured approach to learn through what you're trying to achieve. If you sit around waiting, you really are winning from whom? Nobody but the self-limiting belief. The self-limiting belief is the fear. It's the ego going, don't do it, I'm protecting you. You don't want to step out of your boundaries. You don't want to step out and get out of that comfort zone. You don't want to step out and into that winner's lane because of the fear you might not achieve. And the ego's doing this for you quite nicely. My friends, it's not about how we feel when fear is in control. It's about how we feel when we start to take control and we start to see how much effort and work and time is required, and at that moment it's us trying to figure out what the best approach is and if this is worth it or not. But from a logical standpoint, so if this feeling comes in at a moment where you feel like giving up, follow the step approach that we have, and I'll link those videos above of how to give up. Go through that process in any one area, and what you'll find is that most cases it's not worth giving up, it's worth pushing through, but in some cases, well, it's not, and you should set yourself up for a successful exit into something new. Take some time and go through these steps. Really ask yourself, where are you at? When that line pops in, what is bringing it up? What is actually occurring? How can you integrate that into your learning and then implement the learning into growth stages within your tasks that you need to do in accordance with expectations? And what you'll find through accountability is that your growth will happen. You're no longer going to be, I'm not smart enough. You're going to be saying, oh, I'm definitely smart enough. Let's go learn this too. My name is Nikos Rentas. This is MentorSports.com. Hit that like button if you like what you see. Of course, hit the subscribe button to get your daily motivational idea to get you moving in the right direction. Of course, leave a comment below. Leave your story. What you like, what you didn't like. When you went through this process of trying to figure out that moment you say, I'm not smart enough. What worked, what didn't for you? Because who knows, somebody might be watching my video, but they might read your comment and they might relate to yours. And you might help change.
Snowy